The Quiet Carpenter, a medieval Norwegian bedtime story. Chapter 1. Waking in the Morning Fog. The morning mist drifts slowly across your face as you wake in your small timber dwelling. The fog is thick today, rolling in from the North Sea like a gentle gray blanket that wraps around your coastal village. You breathe deeply, the cool, salt-tinged air filling your lungs with the promise of a peaceful day ahead. Your bed is simple but comfortable, made from sturdy oak planks that you shaped yourself with patient hands. The straw mattress beneath you rustles softly as you stretch, and the woolen blanket your wife wove last winter still holds the warmth of sleep. The wool came from your neighbor's sheep, hardy creatures that graze on the clifftop meadows where wild thyme and sea plantain grow in abundance. Through the small window beside your bed, you can barely make out the familiar shapes of your village. The fog is so thick that even the great stave church, with its towering wooden spires and dragon head carvings, appears only as a shadowy outline in the gray morning light. The church was built by master carpenters 3 generations ago. Its walls, made from massive pine logs that still smell faintly of resin when the sun warms them. You sit up slowly, letting your body wake naturally. There is no rush today, no urgency. The fog will lift when it chooses to, and until then, you can move at the gentle pace that your soul craves. Your feet touch the cool wooden floor, planks of birch that you laid yourself 2 summers ago. The wood is smooth now, worn by countless mornings, just like this one. The air in your home carries the scent of yesterday's fire, still glowing softly in the central hearth. The stones around the fireplace are local granite, gathered from the rocky shore where the waves have polished them smooth over countless years. A few red embers pulse gently among the ash, like tiny heartbeats in the quiet morning. You stand and walk to the window, your bare feet silent on the familiar floor. The glass is thick and wavy, made by skilled craftsmen in the trading town 2 valleys over. Through it, the world appears soft and dreamlike. The fog moves in slow waves, revealing glimpses of your neighbor's workshop, then hiding it again behind veils of mist. Your village sits nestled between the sea and the forest, a place where the pine trees grow almost to the water's edge. The trees are ancient here, some of them standing for 300 years or more. Their trunks are straight and true, perfect for the shipbuilding that has sustained your people for generations. But today, those mighty pines are invisible, lost in the gentle embrace of the morning fog. You can hear the distant sound of waves, soft and rhythmic, like a lullaby that never ends. The tide is coming in, bringing with it the smell of seaweed and the promise of fresh fish for tonight's meal. The fishermen will wait, just as you will wait, until the fog lifts and the world reveals itself again. In the corner of your room, your tools rest quietly on their shelf. The handles are worn smooth by your hands, oak and ash wood that has grown comfortable with your touch. Your adze, your draw knife, your gouges and chisels, all waiting patiently for the day's work to begin. But there is no hurry, no pressure. The wood will wait, just as it has waited for decades in the forest before finding its way to your hands. You dress slowly, pulling on your woolen tunic and leather breeches. The wool is undyed, a natural gray-brown that matches the morning fog perfectly. Your wife spun this wool herself, working by the fire during the long winter evenings while you carved spoons and bowls for the household. The rhythm of her spinning wheel and the quiet scraping of your knife created a peaceful music that filled those dark months with contentment. Your boots are made of thick leather, softened with fish oil and shaped to your feet by the village cobbler. They make no sound as you walk across the floor, adding to the church-like quiet of this foggy morning. Everything is muffled, softened, made gentle by the thick gray air. You step outside, and the fog embraces you like an old friend. The air is so thick, you can barely see your own hands stretched out before you. But this doesn't frighten you, it comforts you. The fog creates a small, intimate world where only the nearest things matter. The distant concerns of the wider world fade away, leaving only the immediate, the present, the now. The ground beneath your feet is soft with morning dew. The grass grows thick here, mixed with clover and small wild flowers that bloom throughout the brief summer. Even in the fog, you can smell their sweet fragrance, delicate and clean like the breath of the earth itself. Wild strawberries grow in patches near your door, their tiny white flowers promising fruit in the weeks to come. You walk slowly around your small yard, letting your eyes adjust to the gray world. Your workshop emerges from the fog like a ship materializing from the mist. It is a simple building, made from the same pine logs as your house, but it holds all the tools and materials of your craft. The wooden walls are weathered to a soft silver gray, polished by wind and rain and countless seasons of coastal weather. The door to your workshop stands slightly open, and you can smell the rich scent of wood shavings and linseed oil drifting out into the fog. Inside, half-finished projects wait on your workbench. A small chest for storing winter clothes, its lid partially carved with the traditional Norwegian rosemalling patterns your father taught you. A set of wooden bowls, their interiors smooth as silk from patient scraping with your curved knife. But you do not enter the workshop yet. Instead, you stand in the fog and breathe, letting the peace of the morning fill your entire being. The fog moves around you in slow currents, sometimes thickening until you can barely see your own feet, sometimes thinning to reveal the outline of a neighbor's roof or the dark shape of a pine tree. Somewhere in the gray distance, you hear the soft lowing of cattle. The village herd is being led to pasture, their bells making a gentle music that floats through the fog like a blessing. The sound grows closer, then fades, as the animals move along paths they know by heart. Even blind in the fog, they trust their feet to find the way to the sweet grass of the hillside meadows. A bird calls somewhere above you, its voice muffled by the thick air. Perhaps it is a thrush, or one of the small songbirds that nest in the eaves of the village buildings. The fog doesn't stop them from singing. It only makes their songs more mysterious, more beautiful. You stand still and listen, letting the pure notes wash over you like a gentle rain. The fog begins to thin slightly, revealing the dark outline of the forest edge. The trees stand like patient guardians, their trunks disappearing into the gray air above. Some of these pines are the same ones your grandfather harvested, carefully selecting only the straightest and strongest for his carpentry work. He taught you to read the trees, to see which ones would yield the finest lumber, which ones should be left to grow larger and stronger. In the forest, the fog will be even thicker. The trees hold the moisture, creating a world of soft shadows and muffled sounds. Later today, you will walk those familiar paths, but for now, you are content to stand in your small yard and simply be. The fog creates a natural boundary, a gentle limitation that makes the world feel safe and manageable. You can hear the distant sound of someone chopping wood, the regular rhythm of axe against log carrying clearly through the still air. The sound is comforting, speaking of preparation and provision, of the eternal cycle of cutting and shaping and building that has sustained your people for generations. But even this industrious sound is softened by the fog, made gentle and dreamlike. Your stomach reminds you quietly that it is time for the morning meal. You walk slowly back toward your house, your feet finding the familiar path without effort. The fog swirls around you with each step, creating patterns that appear and disappear like thoughts in a peaceful mind. There is no hurry, no urgency. The fog will lift when it chooses to, and until then, you will move at the pace of dreams. Inside your house, the fire has burned down to glowing coals. You add a few small pieces of birch, wood that catches easily and burns with a clean, bright flame. The light dances on the walls, creating moving shadows that seem to dance with the fog outside. The warmth feels good against your skin, and you stand for a moment, just enjoying the simple pleasure of heat and light. Your wife is still sleeping, her breathing soft and regular under the woolen covers. She worked late last night, finishing a tapestry that tells the story of the village's founding. Her fingers are skilled with needle and thread, just as yours are skilled with chisel and plane. Together, you create things of beauty and function, adding to the store of useful and lovely objects that make life good. You prepare your morning meal quietly, not wanting to wake her. Thick porridge made from barley and oats, sweetened with honey from the village beekeepers' hives. The honey is dark and rich, flavored by the wildflowers that grow in the meadows and the heather that blooms on the mountainsides. You eat slowly, savoring each spoonful, letting the warmth spread through your body like contentment. Through the window, you can see that the fog is beginning to shift and change. Patches of it drift away, revealing glimpses of the village, before new clouds of mist roll in to hide everything again. This dance of revealing and concealing creates a sense of mystery, of anticipation, but without urgency. The fog will lift in its own time, and when it does, the world will be fresh and clean, washed by the morning moisture. You finish your meal and dress more fully for the day ahead. A woolen cloak, dyed deep blue with woad that grows wild in the nearby fields. Leather gloves, supple and strong, perfect for handling tools and rough wood. A cap knitted from the wool of your own sheep, soft and warm against the morning chill. Each piece of clothing is handmade, crafted with care and attention by people you know and trust. As you prepare to leave your house, you take one last look around the comfortable room. The fire burns steadily, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Your wife sleeps peacefully, her face relaxed and content. The fog presses against the windows, creating a world that feels both intimate and infinite. Everything is exactly as it should be, peaceful and perfect in its simplicity. You open the door slowly, stepping once again into the gray morning world. The fog seems even thicker now, wrapping around you like a soft blanket. But you know every step of the path ahead, every stone and root and turn. Your feet will carry you safely through the forest, to the quiet clearing where you do your finest work. The village around you is waking slowly, like a person emerging from deep sleep. You can hear the quiet sounds of morning, the soft closing of doors, the gentle murmur of voices, the patient lowing of cattle. But all these sounds are muffled and distant, made dreamlike by the thick air. It is as if the entire world is speaking in whispers, sharing secrets that only the fog can hear. You begin to walk, your feet finding the familiar path without conscious thought. The fog swirls around you with each step, creating new patterns of light and shadow. Sometimes you can see several yards ahead, sometimes only a few feet. But this doesn't matter. The path is part of you now, worn into your memory by countless journeys. As you walk, you feel the stress and worry of the wider world melting away. The fog creates a natural barrier, a gentle boundary between you and all the concerns that exist beyond this small, peaceful world. Here, in this gray morning light, there is only the present moment, only the soft sound of your footsteps, only the gentle rhythm of your breathing. The fog begins to thin slightly as you reach the edge of the village. You can see the dark outline of the forest ahead, the trees standing like patient sentinels in the gray air. Their trunks disappear into the mist above, creating the impression of a vast, mysterious cathedral. This is where you will spend your morning, walking slowly along the forest path, letting the peace of the woods fill your soul. You pause at the forest edge, breathing deeply of the clean, moist air. The fog moves in slow waves around you, sometimes revealing the path ahead, sometimes hiding it again. But you are not anxious, not concerned. The path is there, waiting for you, just as it has waited for generations of your people. You will walk it slowly, peacefully, letting each step carry you deeper into the quiet heart of the morning. Your eyelids grow heavy as you stand at the threshold of the forest. The fog swirls gently around you like a lullaby made visible. The morning peace settles into your bones like warm honey. You feel yourself drifting, like a leaf on still water, into a deep, restful sleep. Chapter 2: Walking the Forest Path. The fog has lifted slightly as you step onto the forest path, revealing the ancient trail that winds between towering pine trees. The path is narrow, but well-worn, carved by generations of feet that have walked this same route to the quiet clearing where the finest wood can be found. Your boots make soft sounds on the moss-covered ground, a gentle whisper that blends with the peaceful morning sounds of the forest. The trees around you are magnificent, their trunks straight and true, reaching up into the gray morning mist like the pillars of a great cathedral. Some of these pines are older than the village itself, planted by nature centuries ago when your ancestors first arrived on these northern shores. Their bark is thick and deeply furrowed, marked by the passage of many seasons, scarred by storms, but still standing strong and proud. You walk slowly, letting your eyes adjust to the filtered light of the forest. The fog moves between the trees like a living thing, sometimes thick enough to hide the path ahead, sometimes thin enough to reveal the mysterious depths of the woodland. There is no hurry, no pressure to reach your destination quickly. The path will carry you where you need to go, at exactly the pace your soul requires. The air here is different from the village air, cleaner and somehow more alive. It carries the scent of pine needles and moss, of rich earth and growing things. Each breath fills your lungs with the essence of the forest, the accumulated wisdom of countless seasons of growth and rest. The fog adds its own moisture to the air, making everything feel soft and nurturing. Your feet know this path by heart, every root and stone, every turn and gentle slope. You have walked here in all seasons, in the bright light of summer and the deep snow of winter. But there is something special about walking here in the fog, something that makes the familiar journey feel new and mysterious. The limited visibility creates a sense of discovery, as if you are seeing the forest for the first time. A small stream runs alongside the path, its water dark and clear as it flows over smooth stones. The sound of running water adds a gentle music to your walk, a liquid melody that seems to dance with the fog. In some places, the stream widens into small pools where brown trout rest in the quiet water. You pause to watch them, their movements slow and graceful, perfectly adapted to the peaceful rhythm of the forest. The stream is fed by springs that emerge from deep in the earth, water that has traveled through layers of rock and soil, filtered and purified by its long journey. The Vikings who first settled this land knew the value of such pure water, using it not only for drinking, but for the careful work of preparing wood for their finest carvings. The minerals in the water help to preserve the wood, making it stronger and more resistant to the harsh coastal weather. You continue walking, your pace naturally slowing as the peace of the forest settles around you. The fog creates a natural cocoon, a gentle boundary that makes the world feel intimate and safe. Beyond the gray walls of mist, you know the forest extends for miles, filled with wildlife and wild places where few humans venture. But here, on this familiar path, you feel completely at home. The trees begin to change as you walk deeper into the forest. The pines give way to a mixed woodland where birch and oak grow alongside the evergreens. The birch trees are particularly beautiful in the fog, their white bark almost glowing in the filtered light. These trees will provide the finest wood for your smaller projects, their grain tight and even, perfect for the delicate work of carving spoons and bowls. You pause beside a particularly magnificent oak tree, its trunk massive and ancient, its branches spreading wide despite the fog that hides their extent. This tree has stood here for perhaps 500 years, surviving storms and droughts, wars, and seasons of peace. Your grandfather once told you that such trees are the memory of the forest, holding in their rings the story of every year they have lived. The oak's bark is deeply ridged and rough, home to countless small creatures that live in its crevices. Moss grows thick on its northern side, soft and green even in the gray light. You place your hand on the bark, feeling the solid strength of the living wood. This tree will outlive you, just as it has outlived many generations of your people. There is something comforting about this continuity, this connection between past and future. As you walk, you notice the subtle sounds of the forest waking up. Birds call softly from the branches above, their voices muffled by the fog, but still clear and sweet. You recognize the song of the thrush, the gentle cooing of wood pigeons, the sharp call of a jay somewhere in the distance. These sounds create a peaceful symphony that accompanies your walk, a natural music that needs no human addition. The path begins to climb slightly, winding up a gentle slope covered with ferns and moss. The fog seems even thicker here, rising from the warm earth like the breath of the forest itself. Your breathing deepens as you climb, but the slope is gentle and the pace is slow. There is no strain, no effort, only the pleasant sensation of movement through the peaceful gray world. Ferns grow thick along the path, their fronds uncurling like green scrolls in the moist air. These plants thrive in the fog, their delicate leaves perfectly designed to capture moisture from the air. In a few weeks, when the fog lifts and summer arrives, these ferns will create a green carpet that extends deep into the forest. But now, in the gray morning light, they seem like mysterious creatures from another world. You pass a small clearing where wildflowers bloom despite the fog. White wood anemones, purple violets, yellow buttercups that seem to glow with their own inner light. These flowers are the first to bloom in the northern spring, brave pioneers that push through the last of the snow to herald the coming of warmer weather. The fog doesn't diminish their beauty. If anything, it makes them seem more precious, more miraculous. The path curves gently to the right, following the natural contours of the land. You can hear the sound of the stream growing louder, indicating that the path is leading you closer to the water. Through the fog, you catch glimpses of the dark water, its surface mirror smooth in the still air. The stream here is deeper, moving more slowly, creating perfect reflections of the trees and sky when the fog briefly clears. A wooden bridge spans the stream, its planks worn smooth by countless crossings. The bridge is old but solid, built by the village carpenter 2 generations ago, using techniques passed down from father to son. The wood is gray with age but still strong, a testament to the skill of its maker and the quality of the local timber. You pause in the middle of the bridge, listening to the water flowing beneath your feet. The fog swirls around the bridge, creating patterns that appear and disappear like thoughts in a meditation. Sometimes you can see the stream stretching away in both directions. Sometimes it vanishes completely into the gray air. This constant change creates a sense of mystery, of worlds within worlds, of depths that remain hidden beneath the surface of the visible. You continue across the bridge, your footsteps echoing softly on the wooden planks. On the far side, the path leads into a grove of young birch trees, their slender trunks barely visible in the fog. These trees were planted by your grandfather, part of a careful plan to ensure that future generations would have access to the finest wood for their crafts. The birches are now mature enough to harvest, their wood perfect for the delicate work you love most. The path here is carpeted with fallen leaves, layers of brown and gold that have accumulated over many seasons. Your feet make soft rustling sounds as you walk, a gentle percussion that adds to the forest's quiet music. The leaves are still damp from the fog, their surfaces gleaming with tiny droplets that catch what little light filters through the mist. You begin to notice the scents of the forest more intensely, the clean smell of wet earth, the resinous fragrance of pine needles, the fresh green scent of moss and ferns. The fog seems to concentrate these aromas, making them more vivid and immediate. Each breath brings new layers of fragrance, creating a complex perfume that speaks of growth and life and the eternal cycle of seasons. A red squirrel chatters somewhere in the trees above you, its voice sharp and cheerful in the quiet forest. You pause to listen, trying to spot the small creature through the fog. These squirrels are common in the northern forests, their thick fur and bushy tails perfectly adapted to the cold climate. They gather pine cones and hazelnuts, storing them in hidden caches to sustain them through the long winter months. The path begins to descend slightly, leading you toward the clearing where you do your finest work. The fog seems to thin as you walk, revealing more of the forest around you. You can see the dark shapes of larger trees, their trunks massive and ancient, their branches reaching up into the gray sky like arms raised in prayer. These are the trees that will provide the timber for your most important projects, the wood that will become furniture and tools and objects of beauty. You pass a small grove of rowan trees, their delicate leaves just beginning to unfurl in the spring warmth. These trees are considered sacred by your people, believed to provide protection against evil spirits and bad luck. Your grandmother always kept a sprig of rowan above the door of her house, and you continue this tradition in your own home. The fog makes the rowan trees seem even more magical, their branches disappearing into the gray air like pathways to another world. The sound of your own breathing becomes more noticeable as you walk, steady and calm, perfectly matched to the peaceful rhythm of your steps. There is something meditative about walking in the fog, the way it focuses your attention on the immediate, the present moment, the simple act of placing one foot in front of the other. All the concerns of the wider world fade away, leaving only the pure experience of walking through the gray morning forest. You notice a fallen log beside the path, its surface covered with moss and small fungi. This log has been here for several years, slowly returning to the earth that gave it life. The process of decay is beautiful in its own way, creating new soil, providing homes for countless small creatures, continuing the eternal cycle of death and rebirth that sustains the forest. The fog makes even this fallen tree seem peaceful, part of the natural order that includes all things. The path curves again, following the natural contours of the land. You can sense that you are approaching the clearing, though you cannot yet see it through the fog. There is a feeling in the air, a sense of openness ahead, of space and light waiting beyond the gray walls of mist. Your anticipation grows, but it is a gentle anticipation, like the feeling of approaching home after a long journey. A wood pigeon calls from somewhere ahead, its voice soft and melodious in the still air. The sound seems to come from the direction of the clearing, as if the bird is welcoming you to your destination. Wood pigeons are common in these forests, their gentle cooing a constant accompaniment to the work of the woodcarver. They seem to approve of human presence, often perching nearby to watch the careful shaping of wood with calm, intelligent eyes. The fog begins to shift and change as you approach the clearing, sometimes thickening until you can barely see the path, sometimes thinning to reveal glimpses of open sky ahead. This dance of concealment and revelation creates a sense of anticipation, but without anxiety. You know that the clearing is there, waiting for you, just as it has waited for countless mornings before this one. You can smell the clearing now, the different scent of open space, of grass and wildflowers, of wood smoke from the small shelter where you store your tools. The fog carries these aromas to you like a preview of what lies ahead, a gentle promise of the peaceful work that awaits. Your steps quicken slightly, not from impatience, but from the natural eagerness of someone approaching a beloved place. The trees begin to thin, their trunks more widely spaced, allowing more light to filter through the fog. You can sense the clearing ahead, feel the openness waiting beyond the gray walls of mist. The path is clearer here, more worn, marked by the passage of your own feet over many seasons of walking to this special place. As you take the final steps toward the clearing, you feel a deep sense of contentment settling over you. The fog has been your companion on this journey, creating a world of mystery and peace, transforming the familiar path into something magical. Soon you will emerge into the clearing, where your tools wait patiently, where the wood lies ready for your skilled hands, where the quiet work of creation can begin. Your eyelids grow heavy as you approach the clearing. The fog swirls around you like a gentle embrace. Your footsteps slow to match the peaceful rhythm of your breathing. You feel yourself drifting, like a feather on the morning breeze, into a deep, restful sleep. Chapter 3: Working Quietly with Wood. The clearing emerges from the fog like a secret garden, a perfect circle of open space surrounded by towering trees. The mist rises from the grass in gentle spirals, creating an atmosphere of mystery and peace. Your small workshop shelter stands at the far edge of the clearing, its wooden walls weathered to a soft silver gray that blends perfectly with the fog. This is your sanctuary, your place of quiet creation, where wood becomes art under your patient hands. You walk slowly across the clearing, your feet silent on the dew-wet grass. The fog creates a natural ceiling above you, low and intimate, making the clearing feel like a vast outdoor room. The air here is different, cleaner, and somehow more alive, filled with the scent of growing things and the promise of productive work ahead. You breathe deeply, letting the peace of this place settle into your bones. Your workshop shelter is simple, but perfectly designed for its purpose. The walls are made from local pine, logs carefully selected and fitted together with the skill passed down through generations of your family. The roof is covered with birch bark, layered and sealed to keep out the rain while allowing the building to breathe. A small chimney rises from one corner, ready to draw smoke from the fire that will warm your hands on cold mornings. You lift the wooden latch and step inside into the familiar world of your craft. The air smells of wood shavings and linseed oil, of beeswax and the accumulated scents of countless hours of careful work. Your tools hang on the walls, each one in its proper place, their handles worn smooth by your hands. The workbench stands ready, its surface scarred by years of use, but still solid and true. The fog presses against the single window, creating a soft, diffuse light that is perfect for detailed work. You light a small oil lamp, its flame dancing in the still air, casting warm shadows on the walls. The lamp is made from carved soapstone, its surface smooth and cool to the touch. Your grandfather made this lamp, just as his grandfather made the tools that still hang on your walls. You select a piece of birch wood from the rack where your lumber waits, dry and ready for use. This particular piece has been seasoning for 3 years. It's grained tight and even, perfect for the bowl you plan to carve today. The wood is pale and smooth, with a subtle figure that will become more beautiful as you work. You run your hand along its surface, feeling for any imperfections, any hidden flaws that might affect your work. The wood feels good in your hands, solid and alive, ready to be transformed into something useful and beautiful. You place it on the workbench, centering it carefully, preparing for the first cut. But there is no hurry, no pressure to begin. The wood has waited 3 years to reach this moment. It can wait a few minutes more while you prepare your mind and your tools. You select your favorite adze, its blade sharp and clean, its handle worn to exactly the right shape for your grip. This tool belonged to your father and his father before him. Its metal folded and tempered by a smith whose name is lost to time. The weight of it feels perfect in your hands, balanced and ready, an extension of your own skill and intention. You begin to work, making the first careful cuts that will define the shape of the bowl. The adze bites into the wood with a soft, satisfying sound, each stroke removing a thin shaving that curls and falls to the floor. The work is meditative, requiring complete attention but no strain, no force. The tool does the work, guided by your hands, following the natural grain of the wood. The fog outside creates a perfect working environment, blocking out distractions, focusing your attention on the immediate task. There is no sound except the gentle scraping of your tool, the soft whisper of shavings falling to the floor, the quiet rhythm of your breathing. Time seems to slow, each moment stretching out like honey, allowing you to savor every aspect of the work. You work slowly, patiently, letting the shape emerge naturally from the wood. The bowl begins to take form, its walls smooth and even, its curve following the natural grain of the birch. There is no template, no pattern to follow, only the vision in your mind and the feel of the wood under your hands. This is the way your people have worked for generations, trusting in skill and experience rather than measurements and plans. The wood responds beautifully to your touch, its grain opening up to reveal subtle patterns of light and shadow. Birch is a pleasure to work with, its texture fine and even, its color pale and clean. The shavings that fall from your tool are almost translucent, curling like tiny scrolls before settling on the floor around your feet. The scent of fresh wood fills the air, clean and sweet, speaking of forests and seasons of growth. You pause occasionally to examine your work, running your fingers along the smooth surface, feeling for any rough spots or imperfections. The bowl is taking shape exactly as you envisioned it, its proportions pleasing to the eye, its weight balanced in your hands. There is something deeply satisfying about this process, the gradual transformation of raw material into something useful and beautiful. The fog outside begins to shift and change, sometimes pressing close against the window, sometimes thinning to reveal glimpses of the trees beyond. But you are barely aware of these changes, your attention focused completely on the work at hand. The bowl requires your full concentration. Every cut must be deliberate, every stroke of the tool purposeful and precise. You switch to a smaller tool, a curved knife that allows you to work on the interior of the bowl. This knife was made by the village blacksmith, its blade shaped and tempered specifically for your needs. The handle is wrapped in leather, providing a secure grip even when your hands are slick with the natural oils of the wood. The knife cuts smoothly, following the curve of the bowl, gradually deepening the hollow that will hold whatever the bowl is meant to contain. The work becomes almost automatic, your hands moving with the confidence that comes from years of practice. But automatic does not mean mindless. Each cut still requires attention, still demands the respect that good wood deserves. You work with the grain, never against it, allowing the natural structure of the wood to guide your decisions. The fog creates a sense of timelessness, as if this moment could stretch on forever, as if the outside world has ceased to exist. There is only the workshop, the wood, the tools, and the quiet satisfaction of creation. Your breathing settles into a steady rhythm, matching the pace of your work, creating a meditation that involves both body and mind. You think about the tree that provided this wood, the birch that grew slowly in the northern forest, adding ring by ring, year by year, until it reached the perfect size for harvest. Your grandfather selected this tree, recognizing its quality, knowing that it would provide wood for important projects. The tree lived for perhaps 40 years, and now its wood will live on in the objects you create, passed down to future generations who will touch its smooth surface and feel the history it contains. The interior of the bowl is taking shape, smooth and even, its curve following the natural flow of the wood grain. You work carefully around a small knot, incorporating it into the design rather than trying to remove it. The knot will become a feature, a point of interest that makes this bowl unique. different from any other that has ever been made. Your tools move with practiced efficiency, each one perfectly suited to its task. The curved knife for the interior, the straight knife for refining edges, the small gouge for creating the foot that will give the bowl stability. These tools are extensions of your hands, familiar and trusted, worn smooth by countless hours of use. The fog outside continues its slow dance, sometimes revealing the world beyond the workshop, sometimes hiding it again. But you are barely aware of these changes. Your world has contracted to the space around the workbench, the piece of wood in your hands, the steady rhythm of creation. This is meditation in its purest form, work that engages both body and spirit, activity that brings peace rather than stress. You pause to sharpen your knife, drawing the blade across the whetstone with slow, deliberate strokes. The stone is made from slate, quarried from the hills above the village, its surface fine and even, perfect for maintaining the keen edge that good carving requires. The sound of steel on stone is soft and regular, adding to the peaceful atmosphere of the workshop. The bowl is nearly finished now, its shape complete, its surface smooth and ready for the final touches. You work with the finest tools, removing the tiniest imperfections, bringing the surface to a state of perfect smoothness. The wood seems to glow in the lamplight, its grain visible but subtle, its color warm and inviting. You run your hands over the finished bowl, feeling its weight, its balance, its smooth surface. It is exactly right, perfectly proportioned, beautifully crafted. The work has taken most of the morning, but the time has passed like minutes, each moment filled with the satisfaction of skilled work well done. The bowl will serve its owner for generations, a testament to the enduring value of patient craftsmanship. The fog outside is beginning to thin, revealing more of the clearing beyond the workshop. But you are in no hurry to leave, content to sit for a moment and admire your work. The bowl sits on the workbench, complete and perfect, ready to take its place in someone's home. It will hold fruit or bread, or perhaps serve as a vessel for special occasions, its beauty adding to the pleasure of everyday life. You clean your tools slowly, methodically, giving each one the care it deserves. The curved knife is wiped clean with a soft cloth, its blade oiled lightly to prevent rust. The adze is cleaned and hung in its proper place, ready for the next project. Each tool has its place, its purpose, its role in the endless cycle of creation that fills your days with meaning. The wood shavings on the floor are gathered carefully, saved for kindling or for mixing with clay to make a strengthening compound. Nothing is wasted in your workshop. Every scrap of wood has potential. Every shaving has value. This is the way of your people, to use everything, to waste nothing, to honor the gifts that nature provides. You extinguish the oil lamp, watching the flame dance one last time before disappearing into darkness. The workshop returns to its natural light, the soft gray illumination that filters through the fog. The atmosphere is peaceful, meditative, filled with the satisfaction of work well done. The bowl sits on the workbench, a testament to the morning's labor, a small but perfect addition to the world's store of beautiful things. You step outside into the fog-wrapped clearing, breathing deeply of the clean air. The mist has thickened again, creating an intimate world that extends only a few yards in every direction. But this doesn't concern you. It comforts you. The fog creates a natural boundary, a gentle limitation that makes the world feel manageable, safe, perfectly sized for human understanding. The clearing is beautiful in the fog, the grass pearled with moisture, the trees standing like silent guardians at the edge of vision. You walk slowly across the open space, your feet making soft sounds on the wet grass. There is no hurry, no pressure to move quickly. The fog encourages a slower pace, a more thoughtful approach to movement and being. A bird calls from somewhere in the gray distance, its voice pure and clear in the still air. The sound seems to come from everywhere and nowhere, as if the fog itself were singing. You pause to listen, letting the liquid notes wash over you like a blessing. In the fog, every sound becomes more precious, more noticeable, more beautiful. You make your way to the edge of the clearing, where a fallen log provides a perfect seat for rest and contemplation. The log is covered with soft moss, its surface damp but comfortable. You sit slowly, letting your body relax after the focused work of the morning. The fog swirls around you, creating patterns that appear and disappear like thoughts in a peaceful mind. From your seat on the log, you can survey the clearing, though the fog limits your view to the immediate vicinity. The workshop shelter stands solid and reassuring, its walls weathered but strong, its roof tight against the weather. This building has served 3 generations of your family, and with proper care, it will serve 3 more. There is comfort in this continuity, this connection between past and future. The fog begins to thin slightly, revealing more of the clearing's extent. You can see the dark shapes of the surrounding trees, their trunks massive and ancient, their branches reaching up into the gray sky like arms raised in prayer. These trees have watched over this clearing for centuries, silent witnesses to the work of countless craftsmen who have found peace in this quiet place. You close your eyes and listen to the sounds of the forest, muffled but still audible through the fog. The distant call of a jay, the gentle rustle of leaves in the barely perceptible breeze, the soft drip of moisture falling from branch to branch. These sounds create a natural symphony, a music that needs no human addition, perfect in its simplicity and peace. The work of the morning has left you feeling satisfied, content, filled with the quiet pleasure that comes from skilled labor well performed. The bowl you carved will bring beauty and function to someone's life, will serve faithfully for generations, will carry within its smooth curves the peace and patience of this foggy morning. This is the true value of craftsmanship, not just the creation of objects, but the fog continues its slow dance around you, sometimes thickening until you can barely see your own hands, sometimes thinning, to reveal glimpses of the world beyond. But you are content to sit in this gray cocoon, to let the mist wrap around you like a gentle embrace. There is no urgency, no pressure to move, only the peaceful sensation of being present in this moment, this place, this perfect gray world. Your eyelids grow heavy as you sit on the moss-covered log. The fog swirls around you like a lullaby made visible. The peaceful satisfaction of good work done settles into your bones. You feel yourself drifting, like wood shavings on still water, into a deep, restful sleep. Chapter 4. Simple lunch and relaxation by the fire. The fog has lifted just enough to reveal the cozy interior of your workshop shelter, where a small fire crackles cheerfully in the stone hearth. The flames dance and flicker, casting warm, golden light on the wooden walls, creating a perfect haven of comfort and warmth. You settle into your favorite chair, a simple seat carved from a single piece of oak, its surface worn smooth by countless hours of quiet contemplation. Your lunch sits ready on the small table beside the fire. Simple fare that speaks of the abundance of your northern land. A thick slice of dark bread, baked by your wife in the stone oven behind your house, its crust golden and its interior soft and fragrant. The grain for this bread was grown in the village fields, harvested by your neighbors, ground by the miller whose wheel turns steadily by the stream. Each bite connects you to the community that sustains you, the web of relationships that makes life good. Beside the bread sits a wedge of pale cheese, made from the milk of goats that graze in the hillside meadows. The cheese is firm and tangy, with a clean flavor that speaks of sweet grass and wildflowers. The goats belong to your neighbor, a skilled herdsman who knows every animal by name, who leads them to the best pastures, who tends them with the same patience you bring to your woodworking. A small earthenware jug contains fresh ale, brewed from barley and flavored with wild herbs gathered from the forest. The ale is cool and refreshing, with a subtle sweetness that comes from honey added during the brewing process. The barley was grown in the village fields, where the soil is rich and black, where the grain grows tall and strong under the northern sun. You eat slowly, savoring each bite, letting the flavors bloom on your tongue. There is no hurry, no pressure to finish quickly. The fog outside creates a natural pause in the day, a gentle invitation to slow down, to appreciate the simple pleasures of food and warmth and shelter. The fire pops and crackles, sending sparks up the chimney, filling the air with the comforting scent of burning wood. The fire is built from scraps of your woodworking, pieces of birch and pine that are too small for carving, but perfect for burning. The flames consume the wood with a gentle roar, transforming it into heat and light, continuing the cycle of use and renewal that governs all things. You watch the flames dance, their movement hypnotic and soothing, like a meditation that requires no thought or effort. The warmth from the fire feels good against your skin, driving away the chill of the foggy morning. Your hands, still slightly stiff from the morning's work, begin to relax and loosen. The heat penetrates your muscles, easing the small aches and tensions that come from skilled labor. This is one of the great pleasures of the craftsman's life. The satisfaction of rest after good work. The sweet relief of warmth after cool morning air. You lean back in your chair, letting your body settle into complete relaxation. The chair supports you perfectly, its curves following the natural lines of your body, its surface smooth and comfortable. You carved this chair yourself 5 years ago, taking special care with its proportions and finish. It has become a treasured possession, a place of refuge and contemplation, a throne for the quiet moments that punctuate your working days. The fog presses against the single window, creating a soft, diffused light that fills the workshop with gentle illumination. Sometimes the mist thickens until the window becomes opaque. Sometimes it thins to reveal glimpses of the clearing beyond. But you are not concerned with what lies outside, content to focus on the immediate, the warmth of the fire, the taste of good food, the comfort of your chair. You sip the ale slowly, letting its coolness contrast with the warmth of the fire. The liquid is smooth and clean, with a complexity that speaks of the skill of the village brewer. Ale making is an art, like woodworking, requiring patience and attention to detail. The brewer must know when to add the hops, when to strain the grain, when to add the honey that gives the ale its subtle sweetness. The bread is particularly good today, its crust crackling between your teeth, its interior soft and full of flavor. Your wife baked it before dawn, timing the process so that it would be ready for your lunch. She knows your schedule, understands the rhythm of your work, provides the support that makes your craft possible. Marriage, like woodworking, is a partnership that requires patience and skill. The cheese melts slightly on the warm bread, its tanginess balanced by the bread's mild sweetness. The combination is perfect, satisfying without being heavy, nourishing without being excessive. This is the kind of food that sustains the craftsman. Simple ingredients prepared with care, flavors that complement rather than overwhelm, nourishment that supports both body and spirit. You finish eating and set the empty plate aside, your hunger satisfied, your body content. The fire continues to burn steadily, its flames now settled into a regular pattern, its heat steady and comforting. You stretch your legs toward the warmth, letting the heat penetrate your boots, warming your feet after the cool morning walk through the forest. The workshop around you is filled with the tools and materials of your trade, each item in its proper place, each one ready for use when needed. Your chisels hang on the wall in order of size, their handles gleaming with the patina of use. Your saws rest on their pegs, their blades sharp and clean. The workbench stands ready, its surface scarred by years of use, but still solid and true. This is your world, your domain, the place where you create the objects that define your life and support your family. Every tool has a history. Every piece of wood has a story. The workshop is more than just a building. It is a repository of knowledge and skill, a place where the wisdom of generations is preserved and transmitted to the future. The fog outside continues its slow dance, sometimes revealing the world beyond the workshop, sometimes hiding it again. But you are completely content within these walls, surrounded by the familiar objects of your craft, warmed by the fire, nourished by simple food, resting in the satisfaction of work well done. You close your eyes and listen to the sounds of the fire, the gentle pop and crackle of burning wood, the soft whisper of flames consuming fuel. These sounds are deeply comforting, primal and reassuring, speaking of safety and warmth and the basic human need for shelter. The fire has been humanity's companion since the beginning, provider of heat and light, transformer of raw materials into useful forms. The chair cradles you perfectly, its curves supporting your body, its surface smooth and familiar. You think about the tree that provided the wood for this chair, the oak that grew slowly in the forest, adding ring by ring, year by year, until it reached the perfect size for harvest. The tree lived for perhaps 100 years, and now its wood lives on in the objects you create, a continuation of life in a different form. The fog begins to thin slightly, allowing more light to enter the workshop, but the light is still soft and gentle, filtered through the mist, creating an atmosphere of peace and contemplation. This is the perfect light for resting, for thinking, for letting the mind wander freely without pressure or direction. You think about the afternoon ahead, the simple pleasures that await. Perhaps you will work on the small chest, adding the decorative carving that will make it special. Or perhaps you will simply sit and watch the fire, letting your mind rest, allowing the peace of the moment to fill your soul completely. The fire burns lower now, its flames smaller but still steady, its heat gentle and consistent. You add another piece of wood, a scrap of birch left over from the morning's work, and watch as the flames embrace it, consuming it gradually, transforming it into heat and light and the white ash that will nourish next year's garden. The workshop is filled with the scent of wood smoke, a fragrance that speaks of home and comfort and the eternal cycle of growth and renewal. This scent is part of your identity, woven into your clothes, absorbed into your skin, carried with you wherever you go. It is the perfume of the craftsman, the signature of skilled work and patient dedication. You lean back in your chair, letting your body relax completely, feeling the warmth of the fire on your face, the comfort of the chair supporting your back, the satisfaction of a good meal warming your belly. This is contentment in its purest form, the simple pleasure of being alive, of having meaningful work, of living in harmony with the rhythms of nature and community. The fog outside continues its gentle dance, creating a world that feels both intimate and infinite, both protective and mysterious. You are content to sit within this gray cocoon, to let the mist wrap around your workshop like a gentle embrace, to rest in the peace that comes from being exactly where you belong. Your eyelids grow heavy as you sit by the warming fire. The fog swirls gently outside like a soft blanket. The satisfaction of good food and honest work settles deep into your bones. You feel yourself drifting, like smoke rising from glowing embers, into a deep, restful sleep. Chapter 5: Sunset, Return, and Sleep. The fog begins to lift as the day moves toward evening, revealing glimpses of golden light filtering through the forest canopy. The sun, invisible for most of the day, now makes its presence known through the thinning mist, painting the gray world with touches of amber and rose. You gather your tools slowly, methodically, preparing for the peaceful journey home through the forest path. The workshop shelter stands quiet and secure, its walls weathered but strong, its roof tight against the weather. You bank the fire carefully, covering the glowing coals with ash so they will burn slowly through the night, ready to provide warmth when you return tomorrow. The embers pulse gently beneath their gray blanket, like a heart beating slowly, maintaining the life of the fire for another day. You lock the workshop door with the simple wooden latch, carved from a piece of oak and worn smooth by countless turnings. The building will stand through the night, protecting your tools and materials, waiting patiently for your return. There is something comforting about this routine, this daily ritual of closing and securing, of putting things in their proper order before departure. The clearing is transformed by the changing light. The fog now shot through with golden threads, the grass gleaming with accumulated moisture. The trees at the edge of the clearing seem to glow from within, their bark catching the filtered sunlight, their leaves rustling softly in the barely perceptible evening breeze. Everything feels hushed and sacred, as if the world is preparing for the gentle transition from day to night. You begin the walk home, your feet finding the familiar path without conscious thought. The forest has changed since morning, the fog now moving in lazy spirals between the trees, sometimes revealing long vistas down the woodland trails, sometimes closing in to create intimate spaces filled with golden light. The air is warmer now, carrying the scent of sun-warmed earth and growing things. The path winds gently downhill, following the natural contours of the land. Your footsteps are quiet on the moss-covered ground, adding to the peaceful atmosphere of the evening forest. There is no hurry, no pressure to walk quickly. The fog creates a natural meditation, slowing your pace, encouraging a more thoughtful approach to movement and being. You pass the small stream that runs alongside the path, its water now visible through the lifting mist. The current moves slowly, creating gentle ripples that catch the filtered sunlight and throw it back in sparkles of gold and silver. A few leaves float on the surface, carried by the quiet current, part of the eternal cycle of growth and renewal that governs all natural things. The wooden bridge spans the stream, its planks now clearly visible in the improved light. You pause in the middle, listening to the water flowing beneath your feet, watching the mist rise from the surface like the breath of the stream itself. The sound of moving water is deeply soothing, a liquid music that speaks of continuity and flow, of the endless journey from mountain to sea. A thrush calls from somewhere in the trees, its voice pure and clear in the still air. The sound seems to hang in the mist like a visible thing, beautiful and ephemeral, part of the evening's gentle symphony. Other birds join in, their songs weaving together to create a natural chorus that accompanies your walk home. The fog continues to lift, revealing more of the forest's evening beauty. You can see deeper into the woods now, past the immediate circle of trees to the mysterious depths beyond. Shafts of golden light slant through the canopy, creating columns of illuminated mist that seem to connect earth and sky. The forest feels vast and ancient, filled with secrets and stories that span centuries. You pass the grove of young birch trees, their white bark now glowing in the filtered sunlight. These trees were planted by your grandfather, part of his vision for the future, his gift to generations yet unborn. They stand straight and proud, their leaves rustling softly in the evening breeze, testament to the wisdom of planning for tomorrow while living fully in today. The path begins to descend more steeply, leading you toward the village. Through the lifting fog, you can see the first signs of human habitation, the peaked roof of a neighbor's house, the thin line of smoke rising from a chimney. These sights warm your heart, speaking of community and belonging, of the web of relationships that make life meaningful. The forest begins to thin, the trees more widely spaced, allowing more light to reach the ground. Wildflowers bloom in the patches of sunlight, their colors brilliant against the gray-green backdrop of moss and ferns. Purple violets, white wood anemones, yellow buttercups that seem to capture and hold the golden light. The fog makes these flowers seem even more precious, more magical, like treasures discovered in a fairy tale. You can smell the village now, the scent of wood smoke and cooking food, the familiar aromas of home and community. Your stomach reminds you that evening mealtime is approaching, that your wife will be preparing the simple, satisfying food that ends each day with gratitude and contentment. The thought of home quickens your steps slightly, not from impatience, but from the natural eagerness of someone approaching a beloved place. The path curves one final time, bringing you to the edge of the village. The fog has lifted enough to reveal the familiar sight of your neighbors' houses, their walls and roofs emerging from the mist like ships coming into harbor. Smoke rises from several chimneys, creating vertical columns that disappear into the gray sky. Lights begin to appear in windows, warm and welcoming, speaking of families gathering for the evening meal. You walk through the village streets, your feet silent on the well-worn paths. The fog still clings to the ground, creating a sense of mystery and magic. But it is no longer the thick blanket of the morning. Now it moves in gentle currents, revealing and concealing, creating a world that feels both familiar and strange. Your house appears through the mist, its windows glowing with warm light, its chimney releasing a thin stream of smoke into the evening air. This is home, sanctuary, the place where you belong. The sight of it fills you with a deep sense of satisfaction, of completion, of the day's circle closing in perfect harmony. You open the door slowly, stepping from the gray world of fog into the warm, golden world of home. The fire burns cheerfully on the hearth, filling the room with light and warmth. The scent of cooking food greets you. Simple ingredients transformed by skill and care into nourishment for body and soul. Your wife looks up from her work, her face lighting with welcome, her smile the most beautiful thing you have seen all day. The evening meal is simple but perfect. Bread and cheese and vegetables from the garden, ale from the village brewery, food that connects you to the land and the community that sustains you. You eat slowly, savoring each bite, sharing the quiet events of the day with your wife. Her presence is a comfort, a completion, the other half of the partnership that makes life good. After the meal, you sit together by the fire, watching the flames dance and flicker, listening to the gentle sounds of the village settling into evening. The fog has lifted almost completely now, revealing stars beginning to appear in the darkening sky. But inside, the world is warm and intimate, bounded by the walls of home and the glow of the fire. You prepare for bed slowly, methodically, following the rituals that mark the end of each day. The fire is banked carefully, its coals covered with ash to preserve them through the night. The door is secured, the windows checked, the house made ready for the hours of rest ahead. These routines are comforting, familiar, part of the rhythm that gives shape and meaning to daily life. Your bed welcomes you with its familiar comfort, the mattress soft with age, the woolen blankets warm and inviting. You lie down slowly, feeling the day's work settle into your bones, the satisfaction of tasks completed, of skills exercised, of a life lived well. The fog has lifted, but its peace remains, a gentle quietness that prepares you for the restorative sleep ahead. Through the window, you can see the first stars appearing in the clear night sky. The fog has done its work, cleansing the air, washing the world, preparing it for the rest that comes with darkness. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new opportunities, new moments of quiet satisfaction. But tonight, there is only peace, only the gentle transition from waking to sleeping, from consciousness to dreams. Your eyelids grow heavy as you lie in your comfortable bed. The peace of the fog-wrapped day settles around you like a blessing. The satisfaction of honest work and simple pleasures fills your heart completely. You feel yourself drifting, like mist rising from still water, into the deepest, most restful sleep, where dreams are gentle and morning will bring new possibilities for quiet joy.